Josh Brolin had to audition for 1985's The Goonies 6 times because of that nepotistic thing. Josh Brolin came to the set of 1985's The Goonies with some big ideas, but Steven Spielberg was not interested in hearing them. The actor appeared on the January 30 episode of SiriusXM's Literally, with Rob Lowe sharing memories of his teenage acting days. "I think Goonies was quite an accident," Brolin, 56, said of landing the part of Brand Walsh in the classic coming-of-age film. "I went in there, I've been told. They pulled the Brolin thing. Are you James, Brolin's kid? You want to be an actor, huh?" So instead of that nepotistic thing, they looked at me and were like, "Oh yeah? So act." The directive set the young star, then 16, into motion. "I studied," he told Lowe, 60. "I got Stanislavski books, Grotowski, and Antonin Artaud, and The Theater of Cruelty. I stayed in a bookstore 90% of the time. Just reading, reading, reading." He ultimately met with director Richard Donner and producer Steven Spielberg. "And I just looked right for the part," Brolin said. "You look at Seeing Aston, you look at the type of movie it is. I looked like a bit of a bad boy, but sort of a jock, and I was in good shape, so they were like, that's the guy. I went back 6 times, just so they could make sure, and then I did it." With his newfound theatrical wisdom, Brolin eventually felt comfortable enough to approach Spielberg with an idea for his character. "I came to Steven at some point. We were in one of the tunnels, and I said, 'Hey, Steven, can I talk to you for a second?'" The actor recalled. "I said, 'Hey, don't you think that the tunnels kind of represent my mother's womb? And what if we film me climbing up the tunnel, but really I'm trying to cut that emotional umbilical cord of my mother, and I could have tears coming down my face.' I went into this whole thing and I was getting all excited because he was nodding his head, and then I waited." He continued, "And then he looked at me and he said, 'Why don't you just act? Just say the words on the page, you'll be fine.'" "That's my favorite thing ever," Lowe said with a laugh. "And I could have been like, 'Dick,'" Brolin replied, "but I didn't. I was like, 'Oh, totally, I got it.'" Various cast members of the film, which included Corey Feldman, Ke Huy Quan, Jeff Cohen, Aston, Martha Plimpton, and Cary Green, have spoken recently about their time on set, sharing fond memories of their various on- and off-screen antics. In a 2024 interview on Armchair Expert, Quan described Brolin as like the older brother to the younger cast members, and said he's also remained close with Goonies co-star Jeff Cohen, who played Chunk in the film and went on to become an entertainment lawyer. "He's my lawyer. We're best friends. We see each other all the time," Quan said. "We were like a big family," Quan continued. "So as with any other family, there was a lot of fighting, there was a lot of love, there was a lot of making fun of, laughter. We had all of that."